Hi bookish friends, welcome back to my channel. My name's Rain and today I'm going to be going through the 20 books that I have on hold on Libby. Libby is a fantastic resource. If you have it in your area, I would highly recommend it. If you don't already know, you probably do, but it's an app where you can enter your real life library card and it gives you access to tons of books, like library books and ebooks that your library has available, and you can place a hold on Libby just like you would in person if you were to go check out a physical book at the library. And when it's your turn, you can either check it out or say deliver later and tell them how many days you would like to wait. Like if you're in the middle of a book and you're really into it, you know you're not going to be ready for your new book for another week, like you can say deliver in 7 days and then it'll kind of like put you back in line. You can connect Libby to your Kindle so you can read the ebook on your Kindle, or you can read it on the Kindle app on your phone. It's such a great, fantastic app. That's where I read a lot of my books. These are books that I have coming up that I'm excited to read. I know what some of them are about and I have just a vague idea of what some other books are about. So I am going to describe what I think these books are about and let you know what I'm excited to read coming up. Okay, starting from the books that are available the soonest, I am looking to read John Green's The Anthropocene Reviewed. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, so please don't come for me if I'm not. But I'm excited to read it. I know it's a collection of essays, but I don't really know much other than that. The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I'm excited to read this one. From what I understand, this book is about children who have some supernatural abilities. They have some kind of special gift. So the FBI is using them to help solve cold cases, and that sounds really interesting to me. I know she wrote The Inheritance Games. I did like The Inheritance Games. I started reading The Hawthorne Legacy, you guys, and I just couldn't get into it. I'm sorry. I know that's the book that's people's favorite out of the trilogy from what I understand. I think it's a trilogy. But I just couldn't get into it. I DNF'd it and I don't think I'm going to be finishing the series, but I am excited to read this book. I know this is a series, so I'm hoping I have a little bit better luck this time around. Next, I have Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This is like a mystery thriller sci-fi, and it's about a man who is married, I believe, and like has a wonderful life and then is abducted. And when he comes to, his life that he had is no more. Like it doesn't exist. It never existed. I think that's what we're looking at, which sounds so interesting and compelling to me. So I'm really looking forward to that one. I am really into thrillers and mystery, and I've never read a sci-fi, but I'm definitely excited to dip my toe in. Next is Beach Read by Emily Henry. I have read Book Lovers and I also read Happy Place. I liked Book Lovers more than I liked Happy Place, but I did like Happy Place also. I think I gave it 4.25 stars. Beach Read is about two authors that are on vacation and they have writer's block, so they switch genres and write a book in each other's genre, and since it's Emily Henry, I'm assuming it's a love story. Next is 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. I described what I think this book is about in another one of my books. I think it was the TBR jar chooses my March reads. I didn't get to it. Guys, I was in a major reading slump in March and it was like a bummer. Like it really was such a bummer. I just couldn't get into anything. Like nothing sounded appealing, which sucked. It was the worst reading month I've had in a long time. Also, sorry if you hear like a little pitter patter. My pup keeps like coming back and forth, like saying hi and then going away. So that's what the little pitter patter of feet is. It's her adorable little paws. But 7 Days in June is about these two people who have these 7 romantic days together, and then many years go by, and then I think they have another 7 romantic days together, or it's just kind of like unpacking the 7 days that they had and like why it didn't continue past the 7 days. This one, I don't know anything other than the title, but it sounds super intriguing. And it's called Dopamine Nation, Finding Balance in the Age of Indulgence by Anna Lembeck. It's a nonfiction. I'm looking forward to learning some things. It definitely seems up my alley. Who's a good girl? You're a good little puppy. Next is The Chain by Adrienne McKinty. This book is about a child that gets abducted, and from what I understand, there's a chain of abductions. So in order to get your child back, you have to abduct another child. And the chain has to go on. There has to be like 4 people in the chain that are doing this in order for you to have your child returned to you, I think. That sounds very thrilling and scary, but definitely worth a read in my opinion. It's a terrifying and disturbing premise, but I want to read it. Next is Fourth Ring by Rebecca Yarros. I think the world knows what this book is about more than I do. I know that it's a fantasy and there's some romance in it, and it's about flying dragons. That's all I really know. That's all I got. Next is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. In this book, there is a woman that's left an apartment by her late aunt, and when you enter the apartment, sometimes it takes you 7 years in the past. And she goes into the apartment one day, and there's a man in the apartment, and there's some romance that ensues, but it's 7 years in the past, so they have to navigate what that means for their relationship. I don't know how spicy any of these romance books are for the most part. I'm not a huge lover of spice in my books, which is so funny to me because I'm so sex positive. It just, like, something about reading a sex scene just makes me like viscerally uncomfortable, like seeing the words on the page. So I don't know if there's any spice in this. I don't know how much is in it, but I have a few romance books on this list, and I am very curious to see what I'm looking at as far as spice level. Next is Falling by TJ Newman. This book, I believe, is about a man who is a pilot, and he's flying a plane one day with a bunch of passengers, and he receives word from the ground that his wife and his children are being held hostage, and the only way that they'll be released is if he crashes the plane with all of these people. So he has to make that decision, I think. Next is something that's so out of my comfort zone, and I'll explain why, but it's Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. This is a cozy fantasy with very low stakes, and the main character is like bringing coffee to her town, and it's unfamiliar to them. Like, they don't know they don't know the tea with coffee. So yeah, it's out of my comfort zone because, for one, I've never really been into fantasy, and 2, I've read a couple like cozy mysteries, and while I liked them, I didn't love them as much as I loved like a thriller, something that was like a little more high stakes. But I'm wondering if, because it's a fantasy, I might really enjoy it, because the high stakes nature of some fantasy makes me overwhelmed by how much plot there is. So I recently started reading the ACOTAR series. In my 24-hour readathon, I read A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I just recently am actually getting out of my book slump, by reading A Court of Mist and Fury. I just finished it and I was very overwhelmed with the plot, but a very popular booktuber who has a viral video named Carrie, I believe it's Carrie Can Read. I'm sure you and everyone else has seen this video that's remotely interested in this series. It's a very popular video. It's like a recap of the books. I had to watch that video twice. There's 2 videos for A Court of Mist and Fury, and it's like, I think 3 hours long altogether, at least. And I watched those videos to help me fully understand the plot and the intricacies of the book, because there was just so much information and so much world building and so many more characters than there was in the first book. I was proud of myself for how much I did understand the story and the plot and everything before watching the video. As I was watching the video, it was jogging my memory and I was like, okay, like I was retaining more than I thought. But the world building of fantasy is very new to me and very much outside of my comfort zone, but I did quite enjoy A Court of Mist and Fury. And the next book on the docket for me is A Court of Wings and Ruin. So I am certainly enjoying it enough to continue with the series. Having said all of that, fantasy has never been my genre, but I want to give this cozy little fantasy a chance. Next is House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. I feel bad because I was told the plot of this story by my sister and it has escaped me. So I don't remember much. I do remember that it's heartwarming and just a really enjoyable, I think, pretty low stakes read. So I'm excited to dive into that to break up some of the more high stakes books that I've been reading lately. And some of the high stakes books I have coming up on my list, such as The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This is a take on a mythology story and it is very sad. That I do know. Next is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. This book is about a group of senior citizens that come together on Thursdays and try and solve cold cases. That sounds so fun to me. So I'm really looking forward to this one. My husband's also really looking forward to it. So he bought the book on Kindle and he's starting to read it. I have the audiobook on hold on Libby because what I enjoy doing is listening to the book as I'm reading it on my Kindle. So once this is available, I will be reading The Thursday Murder Club and it sounds like so much fun. And then we have Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I just read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and I did quite like it. That book was unexpected to me. It was not what I thought it was going to be at all, but I really liked it. I did like her writing. I found it really fast-paced and easy to kind of breeze through. I don't know what Daisy Jones and the Six is about really at all. I just know that it's very popular and that most people give it a solid 4 to 5 stars, and that sounds good to me, especially having enjoyed The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Next is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. And this book is about 2 men who create video games together, I believe. I don't know much other than that. I think it's about their relationship and just their lives throughout the years, but I know it's about video games, so that's about what I got. Next is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. And I don't know what this book is about. I know it's a new release and it's a romance and it is generally really liked right now. So I am going to give it a go. Next is Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I don't know what this book is about. From my understanding, there's not a lot a plot, like it's mostly character driven, which I haven't read a ton of books that are mostly character driven. I have mostly read books with like a pretty solid plot. However, I do really enjoy character driven TV shows, so I'm wondering if that's gonna carry over. We shall see, time will tell. Next is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. Again, I have no idea what this book is about. I could not tell you anything, just like a puff of air, that's what I got. However, I have heard many people and many booktubers who I really like and I really value their opinion and perspective, and we share some of the same opinions on some books that I really enjoy, that it's their favorite romance book of all time. So that is reason enough for me to read it. Next is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This is the last book on my Libby TBR, my Libby library holds. And this book is about a woman in STEM, and that is what I know. It's a romance. It was really popular in Book Talk, and some people love it, some people don't. I'm hoping I'm in the love it category. This was really fun for me, and it's fun for me just to go through my reads and to see all the fun books that I have coming up. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched all the way to the end, if you have, Libby, tell me what books you have on hold. Which one are you most excited to read? I think the one I'm most excited to read, oh my gosh, that's hard. I think the one I'm most excited to read is Dark Matter, because I've heard fantastic reviews and I'm in the mood for a thriller, and I'm excited by the prospect of giving a sci-fi book a chance. If you feel so inclined to subscribe, that would be rad. If you feel like you want to leave a like, it's available to you. And it's free, and it makes me feel good. So, yeah. Let me know what videos you want to see from me. I'm super open to suggestions, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I really hope you do, and I'll see you soon. Bye.